Hello, YouTubers and assorted nutters. Ha! How are we all? Beep, 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 beep. Court of the EDI Jester. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, wherever you happen to be. Okay. God, it's so fruitful at the moment. Just walk up to the gender ideology tree and pick the lowest hanging fruit, and off you go. If you're a satirist, this is gold. This stuff. I don't know why more people aren't doing it, because we have an absolute beauty for you here today. Oh, become a warrior teacher, and if you can buy me a coffee or do me a super thanks, please do. Culture sector backs trans inclusion guidance for museums, galleries, archives and heritage. 7th of September 2023. This is from the University of Leicester, right? Okay, now, this happens every now and again. We get one of these, don't we? Here is your inclusive guide for transness, right? Which, of course, is anything but. It's just a left-wing, far left-wing nuttery, isn't it, being pushed and then exploited by far right-wing, capitalist interests. Corporatist interests. I keep having to say that. So the University of Leicester experts are behind groundbreaking new guidance. It's not groundbreaking. I've read it. There's nothing groundbreaking about it, right? Which will support museums, galleries, archives and heritage organisations to be more ambitious and confident in advancing trans inclusion. They failed to mention what trans inclusion is, by the way. That's not unusual. We expect that from them now, don't we? They do that all the time. What does exactly mean by trans inclusion? Come on, tell me. In the context of growing uncertainty and anxiety surrounding this topic, the university's Research Centre for Museums and Galleries, working with a team of legal scholars and experts in inclusion, equality and ethics, has developed the comprehensive guidance to bring clarity, common sense, pragmatism and ethics to a debate that is too often distorted by misinformed, highly charged and polarised viewpoints. You think? In recent months, numerous cultural organisations have reached out to the university seeking guidance around trans inclusion. Have they? How have they done that? How have they reached out to you? Was it like reach out, like as in, reach out, reach out for me, I'll be there with a trans inclusion guidance? No, is that what it was, a reach out? Or was it reach out as in, help me, Father, for I have sinned? What kind of reach out was it? It wasn't a reach around, was it? That might have been fun. Did you film it? So please explain to us what do you mean by reached out, right? Oh, God. Right, okay, in recent months they've done this. They've reached out, right? To, for example, around how to build understanding and support with staff and stakeholders. There's a key word. You get stakeholders, it's loony left, right? Stakeholders. How to ethically share trans stories from collections with visitors. Of trans stories of what? What history? What history of medical malpractice and lunacy, right? What do you think they've got in their exhibitions? Poster from Science the Lambs? Poster from Dress to Kill? What about that? Norman's birthday card to his mother. What's in it? What's in it? Because I want to know. Right? Because all that time when I was living and I was, part of doing gay things and being a gay man, gosh, there was no history. There is no history. The only history is history of horror, right? Right from the ridiculous notion in the first place, what happened, dreadful things that happened to people who got involved with these bloody sexologists like Money and Kinsey and Spack. Right? So go on then, what history? You're going to tell the truth? You're not going to tell the truth, are you? You have no intention of telling the truth. What you're going to do is sew up the gusset of Joan of Arc and stick her on a book. Joan of Arc was trans. Who else? Who else is it going to be? Who else will they? Who are you going to do next? I know. What's her face? What's her name? Roosevelt. Do Eleanor Roosevelt. That'd be a good one, wouldn't it? She said when she went down the mines because her husband couldn't because he was in a wheelchair. She said, "I am my husband's legs." That's a strong woman. She's too strong to be a woman. It's a masculine statement. Trans her now. This is Eleanor Roosevelt. Eleanor Roosevelt, though married as a woman to a man, was in fact a man. Eleanor Roosevelt. Who next? Who else? Who else should we do? Who else can we trans? Right? There must be plenty. What about Napoleon? Was he a buffer? Did he wear, female knickers? It was Not Tonight Joe, not Tonight Josephine. There's loads of them in there. You could just pick them. Henry VIII, he wore sparkly stuff, didn't he? Henry VIII was a bit of a trans person, wasn't he? It's just nonsense. What history are you talking about? The guidance, intended primarily for anyone working with or in museums, galleries, archives and heritage, sets out an ethical framework to support cultural organisations to advance all aspects of trans inclusion. It's rubbish. This has got nothing to do with anything other than inculcating lies into the system. So what I thought would be interesting then was I went and had a look at it, because you're going to do the same. The links are in the doobries. You can go and get the PDF, and when it says on the site, download PDF, and asks you what you're going to use it for, right? So I'm really tempted to put the truth, to make fun of it and all that. So I might do that later, just through sheer devilment. But I've got it downloaded anyway, so I can have a look at it. And just to give you an idea of what exactly it is that this trans-inclusive culture document, which is 44 pages long, get that, right? These are the edicts, 44 pages. Trans-inclusive culture, it's got that vile pink and blue flag, which we know what that means. And the guidance has been created by Susan MacLeod, MacLeod, is that right? MacLeod? I think it is. Of the Conor MacLeod of the Clan MacLeod. There can be only one! It's Highlander. There can be only one! Except when the sequel came out. Well, maybe two. Okay, so Susan MacLeod, Richard Sandell, Sharon Cohen, E.J. Scott Cesar Cuzola, and Sarah Blum, who's obviously going for the depths. Right, now. Thank you to Sarah Morris for advising on compliance with legislation, blah, blah, blah. It's all about, you know, the sort of interesting bits start after that. And then it's got a note on language. Trans, right? The guidance uses the term trans as an umbrella term to include trans men and women, non-binary, gender fluid, and gender non-conforming people. Right, most of us then. Okay, trans inclusion refers to the rights of trans people to be recognised and respected in the broad workplace and broader social life. You don't get that. Okay? You don't get that. Right? You don't get my respect because you dress in a way that you think's appropriate to how you feel you are. You don't get my respect while you lie about who you are. You don't get my respect while you support the mutilation and the sterilisation and the medication of children. You don't get my respect. You don't get my respect anyway. Nobody does. I don't respect most people. You get my tolerance is all you get, right? And you don't get my recognition either. So what that trans inclusion is actually saying is, affirm me or else. That's within the first page of this ridiculous document. Affirm me or else. You don't get that, Jacqueline. Right? I don't know why my standard trans person is called Jacqueline, but they are. Just seems appropriate. And then it's got trans-inclusive practice. Right? A whole series of purposeful actions and activities that cultural organisations can undertake and which together will increase the potential for the organisation's workplace and public spaces to become more trans-inclusive. Right, so what that says is, that next bit, by the way, is you're going to put up with the fact that LARPing fetishists, right, in their garb, are going to be doing so in public without your consent. Without your consent. And that you're also going to be surrounded by them in the workplace. Without your consent. That's what that says. That's justifying the fetishists under the LGBTQA plus, you know, all that nonsense, which, believe me, is about to come up. Then they list the protected characteristics, which they actually get right. They actually get that bit right. What a bloody, you know, how extraordinary, isn't it? To have that all wrong and then put that bit in there, which proves what they've said is wrong, and then the bit's in there. And then they finally get to it, the big one. LGBTQA plus, right? We use this inclusive term, which of course includes queer, which was a slur, is associated or is actually an indicator or a referent to a semiotic signal that you support queer theory, which wishes to break down the boundaries between adults and children. Well done, you bunch of nutters. Who's going to put this to all the museums that the children visit? You can't take your kids to the museum anymore, folks, because they'll be lying to you, right? This is the ideological capture of the public space writ large. Right? And it's just like every other time we've seen this happen with the lunatic bloody utopians. You'll start seeing the little symbols everywhere, and then they'll rewrite history in their own name. Where have we heard that before? My God, Mao's China, Stalin's Russia, Hitler's Germany. I'm not kidding, right? People go, yeah, but you can't compare that to that. Yes, I can. You know why? Because those that I just mentioned didn't happen overnight. It happened incrementally, like this. That's how it happens. That's how totalitarianism takes over. Okay? We use this inclusive term to refer to lesbians, gay, bisexual, trans, intersex, queer, asexual, aromantic, and agender people. It's just cobblers. They're even using the word intersex, but it's differences in sex development. People with intersex conditions have asked 1,000 times for that to be stopped, and they still go ahead and do it. Right? And then you've got, it's just insane. There's like a label, sort of packing label. Seeing trans representation in a museum is a fantastic moment in history. Every item is a trans person's life. We are here, we always were. No, you weren't. No, you weren't. Dysphoric people, right, didn't exist years ago because we didn't even know such a thing exists. And if they did exist, they'd have got on with life in whichever way they had to, without bothering everybody else, and without saying that not only do you have to recognise that we've got dysphoria, you also have to take on board a vicious, vapid, thoughtless, inherently stupid belief system, which is exactly what this item is doing, and exactly what LSE have done with the public money we give them. It's a disgrace. It goes on for another 40 pages. Absolutely the most unbelievable bunkum you've ever seen in your life. It's even got a picture of a little baby blue unicorn, right, with the words on it. What does it say? Immersing myself in My Little Pony is how I manage dysphoria. Get these people gone. Get them gone. The sooner they get them gone, the better. The government can do this. The government can say to you, they can change the law in regards to how we fund UKRI, which is the government funding body, the United Kingdom's research and innovation folk, who get 7 billion a year of public money. We can change the law, which formed them back in 2018, the UKRI law, and we can say that they will change what they fund and how they're able to fund it. We cut the legs off these people, we remove their funding, and universities should be shutting down departments that refuse to play ball. I'd squeeze universities right down to just STEM. I honestly would, because I do the Warrior Teacher program with people, as you know. We learn some great stuff. We have some amazing conversations, and all the peripheral stuff that they bring to the program as well. It's just amazing to me, and I'm learning so much about the humanities and about philosophy and about all that type of stuff. Honest to goodness, the universities need to stop peddling that shite. Stick to the good stuff: maths, STEM, history. If you can keep this crap out, but you can't. Defund the humanities. Do it overnight, do it quickly. Make people pay a fortune to do them. You want to do this crap, we're going to charge you 20 grand a year. That's how I do it. But then I'm not in government, and never should be, because my answer to everything is, burn it to the ground! You go and have a look, because I can't believe it, it's insane. I said they were coming for STEM nearly 5 years ago. Nobody believed me. This is exactly what this is. Science, in museums generally, is the science. Yeah, we see evolution, we see animals, we see all the categorizations. In art galleries, you go to see art, right? But it's art about the time. It's about to make you think about the world that we lived in at a time, or to make you think about the world we live now in a kind of, metaphorical way. It is not to have trans nonsense daubed over everything, which is exactly what they're going to do, like some mad child with a paintbrush at the Tate. That's what they're going to do, right? They're children, and they should be treated as such and sent to the naughty step.